We want to welcome you to today's session of Check Bytes Live. So today we're going to talk about the Teams basics. And so thank you for joining us. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we're going to go ahead and get started. And Daniel, if you could just confirm that you are seeing my screen, please.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so the first thing that I would like to do is introduce myself. My name is Prestine Parten. I am the Technology Director and Educational Technology Specialist here at Southwest REC. We are Region 10 out of Deming. And so we are going to talk about Microsoft Teams, but what exactly is Microsoft Teams? So Microsoft Teams is a collaboration, and it's going to be a place where you can meet with your group or for a project, maybe it's your whole organization, and it's a place where you can have all of your tools in one place. So you don't have to leave one area, go get documents in one place, you look at a calendar in another place. Everything is in one workspace and allows you to work collaboratively all together in one area. You can tailor this workspace to include everything that you need. It's very universal. You can personalize it to what your group needs or your project needs and be able to have everything at your fingertips in one place without having to go in multiple directions. There are 4 different types of teams. There is a class team. This is for your teacher and student relationship, so they can use this either as their learning management system or to complement the learning management system. This could be with Infinite Campus, Schoology. It could be a number of your different learning management systems. There is a PLC type of team. And this is great for being able to share those common goals and planning with your educators to be able to plan for all of the different things that grade levels or departments are working on. There is a staff team. This is going to be great for school sites or even departments that are working together. And then there is an other team. This is kind of your melting pot of other areas. This could be your after school programs, your clubs, study groups, various activities. If you think about your organizations such as band and choir, drama, school functions such as student council, all of these could fit into this other category. So keep in mind that these teams could be all adults or these teams could be a mixture of students and adults. These can be everyone in your organization, or these could also include parents outside of your organization as well as people within your organization. So this is a lot of different types of people within your teams. And then once you get started and you start accumulating different types of teams, if you get hooked on them like I have, then you're going to find yourself using different types of teams and you might end up in one of all of these different types of teams. So the way that you access Microsoft Teams is you can use Teams online or you can download the desktop app. And if you have Microsoft 365 with your school email, then you already have access to that through your school email account. And of course, there's an app for that. So you do have Teams available through your mobile devices using both Android or iOS. And there are so many different features that you can add to Teams, whether it be through Planner, your Microsoft Forms, you have OneNote and Staff Class OneNote. You have Microsoft Stream, which is Microsoft's version of YouTube. So you have your different videos. You can have outside third-party applications such as Flip and Padlet, things like that, and so much more. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what this actually looks like. So when you are logged into your Office 365 email account, you can go to your application launcher and you can find Teams within those applications. It's a little purple icon, looks like this, and then you can click on it and it will open up. If you are already using Teams, then you will have a selection of Teams that show up like this. And I wanted to see if it would actually open up and show some public Teams. Let's see if it will cooperate today. Slowly but surely. It's going to be a little bit slow here. All right, so when you are joining Teams for the first time, there are a couple of different ways that you can join. There is a join link right up here. There's what I was looking for. All right, so you can see here that you can create a team, you can join a team, and here are a couple of public teams. And what public means is that it is open to anyone that wants to be a part of this team. So you don't have to have an invitation, you don't have to have a code, you can join these teams regardless, so that they're open to anyone. So we will come back to that in just a moment. I wanted to talk a little bit first about the web version versus the desktop app and how similar they are. So we are, of course, on the web version because we went to it online. And I wanted to just show you the different look between the web version and the app, the actual desktop app. And I'm going to just do a side-by-side comparison. And we're going to look at all teams. So as you can see, those look pretty much identical. I have my desktop app on the right. I have the web version on the left. Really the only difference to tell which one is which, you can see that the online version, you have your ability to go into any website because you have your web URL up here, but you have your panel right here, you have the panel right there, you have join or create a team. Everything else looks identical. And if I went into any of these other links, they're all going to look the same. So if I clicked on a team here and clicked on that same team here, you're going to see that they're going to look identical. So it's really a matter of personal preference. I generally like to use the desktop app because then I don't have to go back online to see my notifications and things of that nature. I don't have to keep my browser open all the time. I will be able to access this quite easily with my desktop app. So I generally prefer the desktop app, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and utilize the web version. But just know that they are both identical. You won't really see a whole lot of difference between the two. So going back to this join or create a team link, if you were given a code, you could put this code in right here and join someone's team just simply by entering that code. Let's go ahead and take a look though how to create your own team. So those 4 types of teams that I mentioned are showing up here when I want to create a team. Do I want a class team? If I'm a teacher, a class team would have the ability to create assignments for my students. It would have a class notebook assigned to it. and things that a teacher and student relationship would have. Professional, a PLC team would have its certain things that it would have as default. And then a staff team would have a staff notebook that would come default with it. And then your other category, similar to the PLC. So this is the one that we are going to choose today, is the other. So first thing you're wanting to do here is going to be create the title of your team. And then a description. What is this team about? So this is going to be, let your team members that you invite, let them know what the purpose is for this particular team. This is also going to be important if you have not informed your team members that you are creating this. This gives them a little bit of an idea. When they get an email inviting them to this team, it'll give them a little bit of an idea what you're going to be using this for. Now, the next step here is privacy. Now, you saw up here, when we saw these two teams up here that were open to anyone to join, those were public teams. We also have the option of a private team or a public team. Now, I always choose a private team because I want specific people in my team. I don't want this opened up. If this was a book club that you were going to have anybody in your organization could join, you could have that as a public team, but most of my teams that I create, I have a specific purpose and a specific set of people that I have in mind for my teams. And so I am going to choose private when I create this team. Now, there are some links here where you could have templates available in your organization, or you could use a team that you, or create the team where you have a group that's already set up, maybe a distribution group that you've already set up. However, I have noticed that there are some little quirks that happen when you do that. And so I tend to shy away from these. I just go ahead and come from scratch and go ahead and build it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. This next screen allows you to start adding people to the team, and you could start adding them by typing in their name, and it's going to search your organization for these people that you're typing in. So you don't have to know their email address, just their name. And if they're within your organization, it's going to start bringing up the list of people as you're typing their name. However, I like to build my team first before I start adding people in. That way I can have it already set up and the look and feel already in place before my team sees the actual team in progress. Otherwise, they just get the bare bones, and as I'm adding things, then they're starting to see it. I just prefer it already be built. Instead of them asking me questions about what is this and what are you doing, I would rather them see it already made up and ready to go. So I'm going to skip this for now. I'm not going to add team members just yet. I'm going to skip this. And my team has been created. It's very basic. I don't have much there, but it is created. And Microsoft will give you a little icon. It puts the initials that it has pulled just from the words of the title of your team, and then it randomly chooses a color. Now, the area underneath the title are called channels. And if you can just think of this as a way to organize into categories, that is what channels is about. And so the general channel is going to be something that everyone in the team is going to use. So this is like the hub of your team. So everyone would be able to use this particular channel. Then you can create more channels underneath for this. Now think about this as, again, categories. If this was your organization, such as the Southwest REC team, our channels are going to be our departments. So our particular team, I'm going to give you a view of that, just to give you an idea. So here is our team, and our different channels are going to be our departments. And then if I was to show you our technology department, Daniel and I have different categories depending on different projects that we're working on. And so our project titles are going to be under here. So depending on what you're using this team for, will depend on what channels you're going to need. Now I want to explain a little bit about the different panels. So you have a panel on this side, and I want you to think of this as the me panel, okay? This is going to be all about you. This is going to only pertain to you. Nobody else on the team sees this. It's going to be information for you. So when you have a little red dot here on the activity, that means you personally have something that pertains to a message or some kind of activity on one of your teams. Nobody else in this team or any of your other teams sees this. It only pertains to you. You were mentioned in a post. There is a chat, something that's going on here, but it's all related to you. Chat is going to be a one-on-one conversation or a group chat. And if there's a little icon here, then it has something to do with a chat with you and someone. Again, teams is going to be all of the teams that you are a part of. Assignments is going to be, it only shows up here if you have a classroom team. If you do not have a classroom team, this particular icon will not show up. And then if you are a teacher and or a student that has this particular icon, if you have an assignment that has been posted, or as a teacher, if you have assignments that have been turned in, then you get notifications on here. The files icon, this is going to be your OneDrive, so you can access your OneDrive from here. The calendar icon is going to be your Microsoft Outlook calendar, so you can get to your calendar without having to leave Teams. You can view your calendar straight from here. And now these can be personalized. Some of these are default, such as these top ones, and you can rearrange these as well just by dragging them. Sure, you can. You can personalize them and move them around, but you can also add to them. So this little dot, dot, dot will open up, and you can look for different apps that you use so that you can put them on your Me panel. So you can look in here and see which ones you might use to be able to personalize this area. So there's a lot of different apps in here that you can use. As I said, this is supposed to be a one-stop shop, so things that you might use. If you use YouTube a lot to search for things that you are using to present to your staff or to your students, then you can add YouTube in here. So a lot of different things in here. If you use polls, if you use Power Automate a lot, you can add to these so that it makes it easier, an easier tool for you so that you are not having to leave the Teams environment. So again, just making this easier for you to make it a one-stop shop, so you're not having to go back and forth between different screens. Down here at the bottom is another apps icon. And when you click on that, it will take you there as well. So you can see a selection of different things that you can add to it, whether this be to a particular team or to your Me bar right here. There's also a help icon, and this is really a great area where you can get some different types of training. You can click on topics, and you can either use the search bar or you can kind of scroll through and see some of the different things that are available here. If you want some quick little training videos, there are some training videos in here. Again, there is a search bar here, or you can just scroll through, and a lot of these are very quick and dirty, 1 or 2 minute little quick things. How do I do this? And it's just a very, very quick little video tutorials. So nice and easy way to be able to find something. How do I post an assignment? How do I do a conversation to one person? How do I do this? So also with the what's new, you can go in and see some of the updates. They're constantly doing updates, especially in the summer months. And so you can go in here and see some of the new things that they have been putting out. And they even break it down by the mobile apps. They break it down by desktop and web, and even the Microsoft Teams devices such as the Surface. And so you can see a lot of these different things by categories. So the help area is really, really nice in those categories there. You can also reach out to Microsoft and suggest features that they may not have implemented yet. You can report problems that you might be experiencing. The community is a fantastic place to go and look up things that you might be having some trouble with. And the community is made up of people just like us. So if you are a teacher, you can go and ask the community something that you're having problems with in maybe the classroom app. Maybe a student is trying to submit work and they're running into an issue and you can't find a solution to that, then you can go in and ask the community, or even just read some of their questions and answers that they're receiving, and find out that they're having the same thing that you're experiencing and someone's already solved that problem. And so the community is a fantastic resource without having to call upon Microsoft themselves. So there's a lot of things here. When you give feedback, right here, Microsoft does listen, and that's how they determine what types of things to offer next. And so I encourage you to go ahead and give feedback, because they are actually listening and providing. That's how they determine some of these updates that they come up with, is through the feedback that they are hearing. So again, this panel here is simply for you. It's your information and no one else does see this. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into Teams. Now, each channel has an area across the top that can be personalized. And I want you to think of this as the we area. So we as in collaboration. So you're going to collaborate with your team. And so this is the we area. We are going to use any of these areas here. So everyone on the team is going to have access to anything that's up here. And you personalize this to make it fit your team, whether it's a project or your organization. And I'm going to show you some ways that you can manage your different channels. So let's take a look at that. Right here next to your title, and we titled our team Fun with Teams, there's going to be a ... My brain, every time I see that ... I know there's going to be a hidden menu under there. So that ... means, and there's more. So here's our hidden menu here. So under this menu, we can do a lot of different things. We can add our channels. We can add members. If this was a team that we joined, let's say it was one of those public teams, maybe it was the book club I mentioned earlier, whatever, it was a voluntary team, something that our supervisor didn't tell us we had to be a part of, then we could leave a team from this area. If we are an owner, we can edit the team. And so these are the most important ones. This being just a practice team, I could delete this team and not have to worry about it. But let's say that in a year from now, we have this team that we were working on, a group project, let's say, and we wanted to delete the team. Please know that everything within that team, any files that were shared, all of that information goes with it. So you will lose any files that go along with it. So if you delete a team, everything goes with it. So let's go into manage team. So you can do a lot with manage team. So right here, I can go ahead, when I'm ready, I can go ahead and add members again from this area as well. So you saw from the ... I could add members there, and I can add members here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a member here. And I'm going to go ahead and add Daniel. And again, as I'm typing, it's going to search my organization. I don't have to type out the whole email address. I just have to know their name, or at least the first few letters of their name, and I can start searching for them. Then I can just go ahead and add them. And now I can determine if I want them to be members of the team or if I want some of them to have the same privileges as myself and make them an owner. It's hard to see, but you can see that there's a drop down and I can change them to be an owner. I'm trying to make Daniel an owner and my screen's not letting me see it. I will have to do that in a moment then. All right, so now I can see that I have my members added to it. I can go in here now and I could also add Daniel as an owner here as well. So now here are my owners, here are my members. Now just a word of advice here. If you decide you want to get rid of a member, you can X them out right here and that will take them off of your membership of the team. If they are an owner, you would have to change them back to a member first, because if you'll notice there are no X's next to them here. And so you have to have them as a member before you can delete them from the team. Now up here, you can go to the channels. And so you can see the channels that are active and you can add a channel here. You may have noticed over here on the ... you can add channels here. So there's always more than one way to do things when you're in teams. So you can add a channel in either direction. So I'm going to go ahead and add a channel here. And I'm going to call this activities. And again, just like when we built the team, there's a description area. And this is going to be type. Now, again, we have this privacy area. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because everyone on the team will have access to the channels that are beneath it, except if we make a private channel. So sometimes you want a channel where only a few people are going to have access to it. Now, if you think about it in a classroom setting, if you have everyone in your classroom has access to everything in the team, but maybe you have some groups that you want to work with individually, or maybe a small group that you're working with, then you can break them up into private groups. And so maybe they're projects individually that you're working with. So maybe it's a science fair project that maybe groups of 3 are working on. Then you can make some private groups and channels within your team. So if you want a private channel, then you can do that. And so I'm going to make one private channel. So specific people will have access to this. So it's going to add this channel, and this is going to be a special project. Oops, I didn't read what it was telling me. it says add members. So I'm going to add Abby to this special private channel. And now you can see this has a lock on it. And I'm going to go ahead and add another channel. Remember, we can add it this way as well. And I'm going to do birthdays should be able to fall under the category of fun with teens, right? And this one, everyone's going to be able to be a part of this one. So this one is going to be standard. Now you'll notice there is a third one, and this is going, it says that people in your organization or other organizations can have access to this. So it doesn't have to necessarily be just our organization. This can be parents, this could be other people as well. And that's a good point to bring up with your team members, because when you're adding members to your team, I'm going to go back into manage team. When you're adding members, you have PLCs and you have other organizations, maybe it's student council, it's different things like that. And you might have parents that are involved with this. And normally with teams, most of the things are going to be with people within your organization. And so they pop up automatically. But what if it is a parent that doesn't have an email address with your organization? So if you start typing in an email address that is not part of your organization, it's going to tell you that you're adding this person as a guest, and this is allowed. You can have parents in that team. So just know that it's going to show as a guest. And so if you add them as a guest, it does look a little bit different. So I just wanted to let you know it is possible to have parents on your team. It's just going to be their personal email, and it is going to show them as a guest. And maybe I should do that. Just so you can see what it looks like in the member list. But it did say it might take a while for them to show up. So we'll see if it shows up a little bit later on. And so when it shows up, it will actually label them as a guest so that you do know that it's going to be someone who's not in your organization. All right, so we did add a private channel. So you see that lock. Now here's the interesting part about that. Everyone else on the team, when they are looking at the team, this particular channel will not even show up. They won't see it. They'll only see these channels. Okay. All right. So settings is important to understand. So you can change your team picture in settings. So if you don't like the fun little picture that Microsoft gave you, then you can go into settings and you can choose one of their default pictures. So you can just click on one of theirs. I don't know why everything is so slow right now. I guess my computer's tired for the day. You can choose one of theirs, or you can upload one of your own. And when you do, it just takes you into your computer. You can choose a picture of your own and upload it into your team photo and click on update. My goodness, we're having trouble updating your team. I would say so. I'm noticing. So evidently Microsoft is having some issues, but it will change that picture. You can also click on the little icon there to update the picture as well. Yep, still having trouble. Well, all right. So just know that you can update that picture so that it's not just a generic picture there. you can look at your member permissions. Now, whenever you're having all adults in your team, these aren't quite as critical to be going through, but if you have students involved, you do want to really look at those and see what things you want to have students have permissions for. So look at those a little more carefully and what you're going to allow them to do. So depending on their age and their maturity level, you will want to look at those and see what kind of things members can have permissions to do on the teams. You have guest permissions, and again, that's going to be someone outside of your organization. And so you have some things here that you can check off. Do you want them to be able to create and update channels and delete channels? So you have those options there. At mentions, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And then earlier when we looked at creating teams, there was a place for a code. And so let's say that we're doing a PLC team. You might be at your meeting and talking to them about joining the team. And so rather than you having to do all of the work and collecting their email addresses and things like that, you can generate a code. And so the code, you can generate it right here, and you can just give this code to everyone, and they can go into Teams and they can enter this code and join the team themselves. Instead of you having to do all the work and putting in their email address, they can just join the team this way. And then of course, there's always fun stuff that you can do. And so if you like to have a little fun with your team, you can have them put in emojis and memes and gifs and stickers. If you would prefer to be more formal, you can turn these off. And then you can allow tags. And so if you are working on projects, you can have tags to be able to find things a little more quickly. And so you can determine if you want only the team owners to be able to tag things, or if you want everyone to have that opportunity to be able to tag things, you can have that permission set right here. And there are ways to gather analytics about how the team is being used. You can go in here and get your analytics. You can look at the different apps that can be used. And again, the tags are in here as well. Let's go ahead and go back to the channels. And I wanted to talk about the we part up here. And under the general channel, remember this is going to be your hub for everybody on the team. So you want to think about the things up here that you all would use on a regular basis. And so you can add things up here to personalize it to make it the most efficient use for your team. Is there an Excel spreadsheet that everyone would use on a regular basis? You can add that up here. Is there a PDF document that everyone uses? Is there a website that everyone uses on a regular basis? You can add these types of things, calendars, different things. So if I click on this plus sign, I can add tabs across the top. And so there are a lot of tabs that you can choose. A lot of teachers use Flipgrid, and so they can add Flipgrid to the top. So it's easy for their students to just click on that and not have to leave the team and go to a website. They can just stay within the team. Forms can be used here. You can use the link to forms, or if there's a particular form that they use a lot, they can use that particular form. There's lists. Microsoft List is a powerful feature, and so you can use a list that is already created, whether it be inventory or lists that are already created for classroom use or your department use. That can be accessed right here without having to go out of the teams and into another feature. You can put it right into your team. Again, if there's a particular PDF that you use, we had, when we were working remotely during COVID, we had weekly schedules. We alternated who had to be in the building. At one point, there could only be 5 people in the building at one time, but we did have to have people in the building for deliveries and things like that. So we had our weekly schedule up, things like that. So everyone had access to it easily. Is there PowerPoints that people refer to on a regular basis. You can put that up. Some of our teachers, our instructional coaches here use Padlet a lot. So if there was a Padlet that they accessed with information, you could put that up. There's so many different third-party apps that you can incorporate. Whatever you use on a regular basis, it can be added in here. Is there a website that you use frequently? So you can put that in here. See, and I'm going to see if this will work this time. You can go straight into the website and copy paste the website address. And then there it is. So if I wanted to use that, refuse to connect. I'm telling you, I'm having some technology difficulties, aren't I? Let's see. I'm going to use our team as an example. So here's our general tab, our hub for our team here at Southwest REC. And you can see we have many different things up here that we use a lot. So again, the files is going to be like a OneDrive just for our team. So no more having to share links out of our OneDrive with everyone. Anything that is created within the team is automatically going to go into files. We have a staff notebook because this is a staff team. We have a calendar that is an Outlook calendar that shows when people are going to be off. And so we have our admin calendar easily accessible right here. We have staff links that everyone needs. Let's see if it's going to work for me today. This is links that our staff might need to be able to get into different forms and different things. So that's one of our links here. Zoom links to get to our Zoom link page. This is a PDF for the different yearly calendars for different contracted employees. So these are all different links that our staff use on a regular basis. But then if you go into our different channels, for example, technology, our links are going to be different because for the technology department, we need different things. So we personalized it for what we need. So our files are going to be the files that technology needs. So this is like a OneDrive shared in the technology department. We have a tech request form. We have some videos in a stream channel here that we have, a planner that we use, some training center information, a calendar just for technology. So these are all things that we've personalized for us. So every single department can personalize what they need here. So that is one of the beauties of Teams, is every channel gets to personalize it to what they need. So each of these areas can make their we area fit their needs and make it efficient for them. So all of this area makes it personally theirs. And so whatever they need, so they don't have to keep leading that area, it's going to make it beneficial to them. I want to talk about conversations. Now, this is going to be where you can talk to the team. And so you can have conversations here. And everyone in the team can see this. And you can set your settings on how you're being notified here. If you want to get the attention of everyone, depending on how their settings are set up, they may or may not get notified of every post. And so if you want to make sure they get if you want to make sure they get that notification, then you can have an @ mention. And you saw that in the settings when we were looking at managing the team. And so what that is you use the @ symbol, and then you can type the team name. And it pops up. And when I click on that, you can see it changed colors. And so that lets them know, regardless of their settings for notifications, this is going to let them know by email, hey, there is something going on in Teams that needs your attention. And so it's going to notify everyone in the team by email to go and look at the postings. And so that is what the @ mention does with Teams. Now, I can also get someone's attention individually by putting that @ and then I can put their name, and it does the same thing, but now just that person is going to get an email, and that way they know, hey, something is in Teams that I need to make sure I go and read. And so you're trying to get their attention. And you can see that there are these little reactions that you can respond, letting them know that you did see it, a little thumbs up there, you loved something, you're laughing at something. There are some little emojis here that you can respond to them with. You can also make these announcements a little more prominent. You can have some subject lines. And then you can see that this looks and feels a little more like words. So you can really highlight some information by using bold and italics. You can change the colors. You can make the font bigger and smaller. You can bullet things. So you've got a lot more than just typing away like I was up here. You have some more information down here. You can also, instead of it being just a plain conversation, you can make it an announcement, and you can really get their attention here because you can add an illustration. You can even go in and add your own images by uploading your own images into this area here as well. So now it's going to be really eye-catching and get their attention. You can even put this in multiple channels and multiple areas. So you can select your channels and even across teams. And so if you were a teacher and you had multiple teams, because maybe you're at the secondary level and you have a team for each of your classes, instead of typing this message over and over, you can select different teams to put this in on. And so you could select multiple channels and multiple teams to put this into. And so it'll show you across here which ones you've selected. And so you don't have to write this over and over. And maybe it's here in Deming, we've had wind advisories that have closed schools. And so we could actually put this message across different teams instantly and have some information going out very, very quickly to our staffs. And so lots of different ways to get that message out very, very quickly. And you can also add files from your teams and channels. You can put it from your OneDrive, or you can upload from your computer. And it just attaches that that file very, very quickly. So if I just wanted to grab a file and put this in, then you can see that it's loading it up. Now, when I put this in, it's automatically going to include it in my files section, which is the OneDrive, shared OneDrive with my team. So it's automatically going to be saved there. Another nice thing about this is when you add staff to your team and they're new to the organization, then they can go back and see all of this historical information that you have had with your team, and they can catch up on what's been going on and kind of get a feel for your team just by going through all the postings. And so that's kind of a nice thing as well. You can add emojis, you can add GIFs, you can add stickers, you can add streams, which are the little videos, Microsoft's answer to YouTube. You can add praise. And sometimes we forget to say thank you and just, hey, good job to different people. And so this is kind of a nice way to just send out a little attaboy to somebody. Where'd my praise go? Well, hopefully we'll find it. Let's see if maybe if I hit enter, maybe it'll show up. There it is. So you have a little praise in there and just kind of some neat things there. There's a couple of other things. You can add Microsoft Forms in here. You could do a poll, a quiz, just find out whatever everybody wants to do for lunch that day, you know, whatever at the meeting. You can have a Zoom meeting right in the middle of Teams right here, different things here. So lots of things that you can do right in the middle of Teams without ever having to leave. Chat is going to be an area where you can go if you don't want to have a meeting with everybody, like the posts and the conversation. You can have a chat with up to 9 people. And so chat is going to be a nicer way to communicate with just a smaller group. And you can even pull out a chat. The window can actually separate from your team so that you can continue with your team activity and have that chat window separated so that you can continue your efficient work. And so you can have chat going on. And if you share files in chat, once again, you have your own file section here, so you can continue working there. And if you're in the middle of the chat and you decide, you know what, this really needs to be a meeting, you can go straight into a video call right there and have a Teams meeting with that group right then and there. You can do searches for any combination of, let's see, of people. Let's see if I can. You can do messages, people, files. You can do a search within Teams, and it'll go across the board of any of your teams. And so you can do it right within this area. And then another thing that I like with this little search area is you can just do a / and it will give you a little thing of selection that you can find out some different things that you can do. You can also set your status. So in Microsoft, there's a little dot. And so right now it's looking at my calendar and it knows that I'm in a training. And so my status is red, that I'm not available. And so right away you can tell, now we can't bother Prestine because she's not available. So you can change your status right here. You can do different things within there. So that's kind of a nice feature within that search bar. These dots, of course, and there's more. You can also go into your settings here. So you can change your dark or the default light background. You can change your out of office schedule is right here. You can go into your notifications And notifications will be if you want to know if someone has posted something in your team. You can determine if you want to have a little box pop up in the corner, different things. So if you want all activity to be there, if you want just if they mention you or reply to a message that you started, or you can customize it. And most people will go into customizing, and so you can go in and set your settings there. So again, if you want to make sure that they see that message regardless of their settings, remember the @mention, because that will send them an email and say, hey, someone's trying to get a hold of you. There's something important you need to be aware of. Okay, I am trying to be mindful of the time. And so we are running out of time. I want to bring you back to our Southwest REC homepage. I've been working on some changes, and so there is a link on this front page for Tech Bytes, which you will want to be aware of our trainings. And right now that link is broken, and so they're still working on that. And so if you go to departments and to our technology services, which you can also get there by just clicking here, then you can go to Tech Bytes from here. And from here, you can see that we offer the Tech Bytes sessions, which is this one right here, which is an hour long. And we also have a little 30-minute lunch and learn session. We had one today on Excel. We also are collaborating with Region 9, and they are more Google-based. And so they have some Google sessions on their 30-minute sessions, which also are from 12 to 12:30, just like ours. And then they have the bi-monthly sessions, but theirs are all both on Wednesdays. You will see the calendar sessions there. And then if you would like to see what's coming up, you can click on, let me go this way because it's already loaded. You can see what's coming next, and you can register for the different sessions, both Region 9, Tech Bits, and our Tech Bytes. You can register for the different sessions, and you can also see what's coming farther in advance, so you can see all the different opportunities to have some more learning taking place as well. And so we have our YouTube channel that we archive our sessions. So you can click on the YouTube channel, and all of these sessions that we have are recorded, and then you can find them up on the YouTube channel. And then on Region 9, they also will archive that. So when you click on the archived sessions, this will take you to their YouTube channel as well. And it may take a while to load. So I'm not going to let you wait on that. So I'm going to stop sharing and bring you back front and center. And we want to thank you for joining Tech Bytes today. And we hope that you have enjoyed our session and learned something out of this. And if you would like to know more, maybe you have a question when you get started, I quit sharing a little too soon. Let me bring that back up one more time. And if you would like to contact us here at the Southwest REC, Daniel, am I sharing my screen? Making sure.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. If you would like to contact Daniel or myself, here is our email addresses for you to contact us. That information is also on our website. Again, our website is southwestrecnm.org, and you can go to the technology department and get all of our links there as well. So again, thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you will join us again. And we hope to see you back here real soon. Thank you.